In today's video, we're going to talk about whether braided line is damaging the guides on your fishing rods. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Captain Chris Myers, a full-time fishing guide down here in Florida, doing mostly saltwater fishing, and I'm using all braided line. Quite some years ago, I did a video on exactly this topic. I showed you what was happening to my rods back then. Got lots of comments, a lot of input. Since then, I thought would revisit this subject, even brought back some of the same rods that I used in that video that have even more fishing trips on them now. If you haven't joined this channel, I encourage you to become a subscriber. A lot of fishing instructional videos. Click that bell icon so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. I've been charter fishing for over 15 years in 99% saltwater. So we catch big fish that pull hard, that put a lot of stress on the rods and the guides. And I've been using nothing but braided line. I use 10 pound, 20 pound, sometimes 30 pound braided line. I have $50 rods. I have $200 plus rods. So I've gotten to see in all different kinds of rods if braided line is damaging my guides. In my last video on this subject, I got a lot of feedback. A lot of people indicated that maybe the damage I was getting was up at the tip top guide and I failed to show what my rod tips look like. So therefore, I was hiding the damage. Well, I'm here to tell you that all these years later, still have a lot of the same rods, have a lot of new rods, use nothing but braid. We've caught some gigantic fish, including huge tarpon. Have not experienced one single guide on any of my rods that have damage on it. Now, I've heard back from a lot of you that you are getting damage on your rod guides, but I'm just telling you, in my experience with rods of all different brands, of all different price levels, I have never seen any damage. So I'm going to show you close up what some of my rod guides look like. None of the rods that I have with me today are less than 2 years old. Some of them are 10 plus years old. Been using them for nothing but big fish. I got some pretty stout rods that we put 20 and 30 pound line on, and they get a ton of pressure. And even my little $50 ultralight, which we use in saltwater and still catch fish over 10 to 15 pounds, doesn't have any damage on it. If the only reason you haven't put braided line on your rods yet is because you were concerned it was going to damage the guides, I have never seen this happen in any rod I have ever owned. Certainly if you're fishing in freshwater situations where the fish are not huge, if they're not damaging my guides with 50 to 100 pound tarpon, some of which we fought last year for over 45 minutes, if anything was going to damage the guide, it would be those fish. If they're not damaging the guides, then your average freshwater fish and average saltwater fish aren't going to be doing it either. Let's take a look close up at what some of these rods that I brought look like. There's my experience with fishing with braided line and its effect on my rod guides. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I got a couple other videos here specifically about braided line. One's about making sure it's on your spool right. The other one is about getting rid of those dreaded wind knots. Check them out.